Sorry about that. All right. Here we go. But yeah, I love Kelvin Gastelum. I do think he should go down to welterweight. I just think he needs to get that diet improved to maximize his skill set. I do think in the middleweight division, he definitely can have some fun fights, but I don't think he'll ever win the title just because there's such a deficit of where he's, like his frame, his length, I do like Kelvin, though. Kevin Holland, man, that's such a tough one. I think Kevin Holland, honestly, is right up there in A tier. I think Kevin Holland is unbelievable, and now he's actually fighting in his natural weight class and not fighting those bigger guys just because he likes to do it. I like Kevin Holland. I think the sky is the limit for Kevin Holland. Again, we will see. The future will tell, but he's so good. Very powerful, too, for such a lanky guy. Yeah, I like Kevin Holland. Now we have Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares looked really, really good against Duplessis. I actually thought he won that fight. Close towards the end, but I did have him winning that fight. But he is also 33 years old. I mean, I think he should retire. I don't think there's anything more that Brad Tavares can do. I don't think he can make a title run at this point in his career. I just don't think he's making those adjustments enough to make a big run like that and at least get into title contention, at least. I don't think he can do that. I like Brad Tavares. I think he's a fun fighter to watch. I've been watching him for a while, but I definitely think he should retire. And now we have... Oh, man. Who is that? I don't know who this is. Somebody let me know down in the comment section. I'm going to put him... Oh, wait. No. This is... Oh, man. Rameev? I think this is Rameev or Ivanov, something like that. He's very good. I like him. He's B- right below Kelvin. I think he was actually supposed to fight Kelvin and something happened, but I'm pretty sure that's who this is. Narcidine? It's something like that. I think that's who that is. B-. I like him. He's good. Chris Weidman, I think, should retire. What is Chris Weidman going to do from here on? I mean, I don't get it. Especially with the bad leg break. Yeah. I not really much to say. I think Chris Weidman could have been, his legacy could have been so much more than what it is now. I like Chris, but I think he should retire. Edmund Shahbazian. Ooh, what a tough one. I think his potential is higher than what he is right now. I think he's average. And it's weird because he was, I think, 11-0. Man, my fucking nose. 11-0, 10-0, something like that. And he's lost his last 3. And fights, most of those fights, he was winning earlier on. And ran out of gas and lost the next 2 rounds or whatever it may have been. I like Edmund. I think he changed the camp, which is awesome. Get away from that freaking Ronda Rousey trainer. Awful. I think that's going to help him a lot, too. So I'm excited to see what he does next. And he'll probably move up later. Not in this ranking, but at some point in the rankings. In these tier lists. But I like Edmund. I just don't think he's anything more than an average right now. And then we have Taitu Chuavasa. I mean, I think Taitu Chuavasa is awesome. I'm going to put him right above Derek Lewis. I think Cyril Gane's right now, I'm going to put him right here in A-. I like Taitu Chuavasa. I think, he doesn't have to wrestle because he has big power. He's very methodical in it and very fast for a heavyweight, and he has a ridiculous chin, as we've seen multiple times. Greg Hardy tested it. Derek Lewis tested it. I like Taitu Chuavasa. I don't know if he'll ever be champion, but in the heavyweight division, and someone who moves like him, if he beats Cyril Gane, sky's the limit for Taitu Chuavasa. Glover Teixeira. Oh, man. I think Glover's S tier. I know he just lost his belt, but I think he was winning that fight 4-1 or 3-1, whatever it was, going that 5th. I think all he had to do was get out of the position that he was in, and he wins that fight. not get caught in that submission, and he wins that fight. Close fight. Close. But Glover was really beating up Yuri. And I think in this rematch, spoiler alert on my prediction, I like Glover in that fight. I picked Yuri to win that first one because I thought Glover was going to get hit a little too much. And he did at times. The body shots really affected him, he said. But on the ground, Glover kind of beat the living crap out of Yuri. He really took the fight wherever he wanted. And just everything that Glover has done, I definitely think he's SS tier. You know, I think he's right before the GOAT tier. Yeah, I like Glover. That's why I put him there. And now, next, Juan Blachowicz. Oh, Jesus. I think he's A tier. I don't think he's anything special. I think him winning the title like he did is whatever. I've never been a huge fan. I thought Izzy beat him when Izzy went up there 3-2. I thought Izzy won the first 3 rounds and then lost the last 2 when he got taken down. And again, he didn't do anything either. Juan didn't do anything. He just laid on top of him. But again, not a huge fan of Juan. I don't think he's that good. But yeah, he's a good fighter. Yuri, he is the champion obviously now. I can't put him where Glover is. I can't put him where Francis is. I could probably put him in A tier. I definitely think Yuri is great, but he gets hit a lot, and that's going to be a big, big problem later in his career at some point. His chin is ridiculous, but you can't have that style and retire with that style. It's going to change. He's going to stop doing it, or he's going to get finished a whole crap load. But he is very fun, very good. Izzy, I think Izzy is SS tier. I think Izzy is unbelievable. I can't put him there. He's where Glover is. Izzy's awesome. Izzy's fun. People are critiquing Izzy for the Cannonier fight, and how can you do that? He beat him 4-1, 4 rounds to 1. I mean, he destroyed Cannonier. Just because he didn't finish him or flatline him doesn't mean Izzy isn't good or he's boring. No. Why should Izzy take those risks? And you have to have a willing dance partner. If that's why Jared didn't do it. If Jared is rushing Izzy, Izzy's going to beat him up. Izzy's going to finish him. He's going to pick him apart. So Jared stayed back, tried to pick his shots, and Izzy was just a better striker, obviously. I don't like that game plan from Jared. I think Jared should at least try to get some takedowns, push him against the fence, make Izzy work, but that shit's tiring. So, to all you guys that think Izzy's boring or whatever, overrated, you don't know fighting. You're ridiculous. But I think Izzy is right up there. I can't put him in that top tier yet because he just hasn't shown enough yet, but I think he's incredible for sure. Now we got Robert Whitaker. I think Robert Whitaker also is right up there with Izzy and Glover. I think Robert Whitaker is an unbelievable talent. I think Robert Whitaker is something very, very special. Yeah, there's nothing really else to be said. If it wasn't for Izzy, Robert would still be champion. I think that's very, very clear, even though I thought UL won that second fight pretty fair and square. Either way. I don't know anybody else that would have beaten Robert. I would have loved to see Kelvin fight Robert the night that he's supposed to for the title. You know, when they did fight, it was kind of a one-sided beatdown, but I think it would have been different that night. For the title they were supposed to fight, and Robert had to pull out. But yeah, I mean, very good fighter, for sure. Marvin Vittori. I think Marvin Vittori is good. I think he's right here with Kelvin and them. I don't think he's anything crazy. I don't think he'll be champion, especially because Izzy's there. I think he's good. I think he'll beat some guys, but he's never going to be that top dog. I just don't think he'd ever get past Izzy. Obviously, we've seen it twice, and he couldn't. Yeah, I think he's good. God damn. I think he's good. Not great, but definitely good. And then we have Jared Cannonier. I think Jared Cannonier is the same thing where Marvin Vittori is. I think Jared Cannonier is a beast. I think what he's done in his career is unbelievable. The transformation from being heavyweight, light heavyweight, down to middleweight, and then actually fighting for the title. And is he calling it and saying that he wanted to fight for him? I think that says something about Jared. And I think Jared's awesome. I don't think he'll ever be champion because Izzy's there. But I do like Jared Cannonier a lot. I think he's fun. I think he has rough fights, and I am going to actually move him over here because he beat Kelvin. But, yeah, I do like him. I don't think he's incredible. But he's good, for sure. Derek Brunson, I'm not a fan of Derek Brunson. I'm just not. I think he's right here with this. I guess I have to put him here because he beat Darren Till. Not a fan of Derek Brunson. Not a fan of Blonde Brunson. Don't really care. But he's good. He's good. Oh, and Jared Cannonier beat the living crap out of him, so I got to put him above. Next, Paulo Costa. I think Paulo Costa is right below Marvin Vittori. I don't think he's that good. And I think Luke Rocco is really going to show that he's not that good. Again, it's one of those things where I think Paulo could have been good, but again, you fight in a weight class that your style is you're going to get finished 100 out of 100 times from Izzy. It's just the way it is. You can't bull rush a counter perfectionist, with the striking arsenal as Izzy has. It's unbelievable. And then Jack Hermanson. I think Jack Hermanson is average. I think he's okay. I don't think he's anything ridiculous. But he's decent, and he's actually fighting Chris Curtis here now, too, soon. Sean Strickland. I think Sean Strickland is B tier. I think he's very, very good. I think Sean Strickland, just because Sean Strickland got finished by Alex Pereira, I don't think it takes much off of Strickland. I still think he's great. He's just a terrible fucking game plan. Anybody said that Sean was doing what he was wanting with Alex, and no, Alex was buying his time, making reads, and then planted the kill shot. I think it would have been different if Strickland went in there and would just put in a ridiculous pace on him, making him work, making him think, output, a lot of strikes, combinations, never just standing there right in front of him. It would have been a different fight, but that's not what he did, obviously. And you parrying like he's parrying is going to be too easy of a read for Alex Pereira with that dynamite of a left hand. So, yeah. Alexander Rakic, I think he's good. I think he was going to beat Juan Blachowicz. I think he's okay. I'm not going to put him in A tier. That seems ridiculous for Rakic. I'm going to put him in B minus. I think he's good, not great. I do think he would have beaten Juan before he hurt his knee. Oh, God, that seems a little high for Juan now. Jan. Yeah, B minus is better for him. Good, not great. Overrated, I think. But yeah. Oh, Anthony Smith, not a fan. Average. Very, very good boxing. Good overall. I don't like his attitude when he fights these guys. But, again, I do think he's good. But I think Anthony Smith is a fighter that is overrated. He's fighting Thiago Santos now. No, he's fighting Magomed Ankalaev. He's going to get smashed, I think, in that fight. So, Anthony Smith, okay. Thiago Santos, please freaking retire. I'm so tired of seeing Thiago Santos in main events. He's fighting Jamal Hill. I hoped to God Jamal Hill flatlines him and they make him retire. They cut him something. I'm so tired of seeing Thiago Santos. Magomed Ankalaev. I think Magomed is unbelievable. I think he's right up there in A tier. I can't put him with Francis, S tier. Tom Aspinall is a special talent. I can't put him there. He's good. I think he destroys Anthony Smith. Dominic Reyes, same thing with Anthony Smith. I think he's okay. I think he's athletic, talented, but nothing special. We've seen that. Volkov, same thing. C tier, average. He's okay. People have kind of figured out his style. Okay. Ankalaev, he was beating up Paul Craig and got caught because Paul Craig's Paul Craig. I like Krylov. I don't know if he'll ever be champion or like that, but he has the skill set to do it, and that's why he's higher than some of these other guys. I do think he can put it together. He just needs to make a little bit better decisions, and he's not terribly old either. So in the division that he's in, he definitely can do that. Johnny Walker, I think Johnny Walker should retire. I think he's absolutely trash. Overrated. I mean, Jesus, overrated. Paul Craig is awesome. I think Paul Craig is right in B tier, right above Krylov. Paul Craig's good. I think his style is kind of ridiculous. I don't think he can keep it up forever because he almost gets finished in every single one of his fights and then pulls out a submission somehow. I think he's good. I don't think he'll ever be title contender. I don't think he'll ever win the title. I mean, Paul Craig's good, but that style is rough. Ryan Spann, I think Ryan Spann's, B tier. I think Ryan Spann's good power. Did lose to Johnny Walker, but was completely dominating him until he decided to just go shot for Johnny. And Johnny does have power. I don't really understand the decision to do that, but yeah. I do like Ryan Spann. I think he's more talented, more gifted than Johnny Walker. Jimmy Crute, before getting splattened by Jamal Hill in a fight that surprised the hell out of me, to be honest. I didn't think that would happen. I do think Jimmy Crute is right there in B tier. I like him a lot. I think he's good, and I think this was going to show him a different style that he's going to have to implement. I think it's going to fire him up. Jamal Hill, I think he's right up here with Taitu Chuavasa. I think Jamal Hill is unbelievable. We really haven't seen a whole ton of wrestling because his wrestling defense is actually pretty dang good. And, oh boy, we got a lot. I like Jamal Hill. Big power, destroy Johnny Walker, and he's going to murk Thiago Santos. Ian Cutelaba should retire. Not that good of a fighter. Not that fun to watch. Yeah. Sean Brady, I think Sean Brady is right up there in A- tier. I think Sean Brady's unbelievable. I think he's supposed to be fighting Bilal Muhammad, and that is such a fun fight because of the wrestling. And Sean Brady's unfreaking believable. Santiago Panzanio. Santiago, this one's a hard one because before Panzanio was out for a while, Panzanio was right up there, title contention, big fight, big winning streak, and then had to take that time off and, hasn't really been the same fighter. But again, he's a lot older, 36 years old. I do think he's above all these guys down here. I'm going to put him in B tier, but it's a big decline from where he was before all those 2 years or 3 years that he had to take out. Charles Oliveira is the first one I'm going to put up here in special talent. Oliveira is unbelievable. I mean, we can't deny it anymore. Unfreaking believable. Dustin Poirier, I think Dustin Poirier is right below Charles. I think Dustin Poirier, I don't think he'll ever beat anybody like Charles, but I think Dustin's so good at what he does. I think his style is hard to beat guys like Charles, but he's right below Charles. Like if anybody else was the champion, I think Dustin Poirier probably would be champion, unless it was Khabib, of course. But besides those two guys, I think Dustin has a big chance of being champion. Next, we have Justin Gaethje. I think Gaethje is the same thing. If it wasn't for Khabib or Charles, he would probably be champion. I think they said they're going to run back Gaethje and Dustin. They're going to do it a second time. They're going to fight, which I think is awesome. Fun fight. Gaethje's great, for sure. Beneil Dariush. I think Beneil Dariush is right up there in A tier. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. I think he is unfreaking believable. I think the durability from that man, the willingness to change it up, his ground game is unbelievable, and his striking is awesome. The one thing that questions it is when he gets hit, he likes to throw back and bite down and let's go for it. That can cause some issues. At some point, it has earlier in his career, and it's, the Jakar close fight, it helped him. Fun fighter. One of my favorites. Islam Makhachev. I think Islam Makhachev is right there in A tier. I think Islam Makhachev is unbelievable. I want him to fight Beneil Dariush to show us who's the better fighter and who should fight Charles. But I think Islam is going to fight Charles. Honestly, that's what they're making it sound like, at least. So I do like Islam. Fun fighter. Don't think he's anything higher than this right now. Rafael Fiziev is unfreaking believable. Just coming off that crazy knockout of RDA. Unfreaking believable. Great job, Fiziev. I can't believe he did that in the 5th round. It shocked the hell out of me. I think, honestly, it shows us a lot more than him doing that in the early rounds of that fight. Because if he does that early in the fight, you can just say, oh, he caught RDA early. But it shows us and it answers a lot of questions, like his cardio. We thought he was fading in the 4th round. He still did good, but we did think he was fading in that 4th round. And then to come back out there like that in the 5th round, it's unbelievable. It's a great job to the team, to Fiziev, and man, what a warrior that guy is. Michael Chandler, I think Michael Chandler is right up there with these guys right here. Anybody else that's not champion than Charles, Michael Chandler's probably champion. So it's just one of those crazy things. RDA, I think RDA is a legend. I think he's right here in A tier. You know what? I do think he should retire. I think he's A tier talent, but he is 38 years old. And I don't really know if he wins this, he's up there in title contention. And that's what you got to do when you're that age and when you've had as many fights as he has. But because he lost that, it sets him so far back. I think that title's kind of out of the picture now, especially at this age. Unless he goes on a ridiculous run, short notice fights, stuff like that, I think RDA should retire. Tony Ferguson, I think Tony Ferguson is awesome. I do kind of think he should retire, but I'd like to see one more because he was doing so well against Michael Chandler. I'm a big fan of Tony Ferguson. I think Tony just got caught in his last fight because, again, he was beating the crap out of Michael Chandler, and I do think Tony is A tier. Next, we got Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker, at this point in his career, I think is average. I think Dan Hooker is great. As, you know, my opinion of him, I like him a lot, but in reality, he's dropped off so much from where he was. I know he made the commitment to go down a weight class, and it obviously didn't work out. He got the shit kicked out of him. I don't see him ever getting to that title, and that sucks because he's so good. He's so fun to watch. Conor McGregor, which one are we talking about? Because Conor, a couple years ago before he fought Floyd, is SS tier. Unfreaking believable. But at this point, I think Conor's average. I don't like his boxing style that he's been implementing. His footwork as a boxer now. He's lost that step in there. I do think Conor would do good against Gaethje or Chandler. I do. But at this point, I think Conor is either C tier or should retire. I'm actually going to put him in should retire. Nothing left to prove. You're just kind of ruining your legacy at this point. Gregor Gillespie doesn't ever freaking fight, so that's why he's going to go in C tier. If he fights, he's unfreaking believable. He's ridiculously athletic. His top game's unbelievable. You know, and he just never freaking fights. So that's why I'm putting him here in C tier. Just doesn't fight often. Carlos Vieira, I think Carlos Vieira should retire. I think he's awesome to watch at times. But lately, he's 37, I believe. I think he's born in 85. I think he's 37 now. And you could just see if stuff's not going his way, he kind of finds a way out. I thought he was beating Garbrandt and gets kneed on the side or whatever and breaks a rib at some point. I'm not really for sure what happens or how that happened, but I think Carlos Vieira should retire and just pulled out of his most recent fight. Brad Riddell, I think Brad Riddell is C tier. I think he's average. You know, Rafael Fiziev beat the crap out of him. Jalen Turner submitted him, beat him up. I just don't think there's anything special about Brad Riddell. I do think his striking's unbelievable, but you got to have more than just striking in this game. Armin Sayukin. I thought Armin Sayukin won against Garbrandt, and I think he's an S-tier talent. I like Armin Sayukin. I think he's a fun fighter for sure. Thiago Moises. I think Thiago Moises is B tier. I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's incredible. I don't think he's good or great. I think he's good for sure. I think he can beat some guys, but I don't think he'll ever get to that title. Kamara Usman. I think Kamara Usman is S tier. I don't think he just hasn't showed me enough to be up there with Charles Oliveira. I think it's unbelievable. Also, people keep saying he's the welterweight GOAT, pound for pound. Absolutely not. The things that GSP would do to Kamara Usman is breathtaking, and it would be awesome to watch him demolish Kamara. Kamara is good at finishing guys when he has them hurt, but again, he's had 5 title defenses and 4 of them against 2 guys. So we have to calm down. We can't have recency bias. We can't do that because he's only fought 3 guys. So we gotta wait. Leon Edwards should show a lot, but again, he's already fought Leon Edwards, and Leon Edwards is overrated anyways as it is. So yeah, he needs to fight somebody else. Shit. Man. Colby Covington. I think Colby Covington is S tier. I don't think he's any better than Kamara Usman. I do think Colby was winning that first fight. Second fight, I think Colby came out with a terrible fucking strategy. Laid back a little bit and stood in front of Kamara, which made no freaking sense. I don't get that because as soon as he started to strike with him, he had all the success he could have imagined. But he decided not to do that. Yeah, whatever that is. I don't get that, but yeah. Colby, good. Don't think he'll ever be champion, though. Holy crap. Gilbert Burns. I think Gilbert Burns is right there with Colby. I think Gilbert Burns is right below Usman. I can't put him up there because I don't think he ever beats Usman. But Gilbert Burns is very, very good. Leon Edwards. I think Leon Edwards is right there below S tier. Actually, I'm going to put him in A tier. I think he's honestly getting this title shot just by default because he is on a big win streak and stuff. But, I mean, Gunnar Nelson almost beat him. Split decision. Yeah, he beat up Nate Diaz. But at the end of the fight, Nate Diaz honestly could have beaten him if he would have just had a little bit more urgency when he hurt him. And he hurt him so bad that I guarantee if he hit him after he hurt him, he puts Edwards away. It's just the way it is. I don't think Edwards is anything special. I think he's a bit overrated, but we'll see. Wonder Boy, talent-wise, A tier. Where he's at currently is in B tier. I think he's declined a little bit, but he's also fighting these ridiculous wrestlers, so I don't think he should retire. I still think he has a lot left in the tank. He's just getting terrible, terrible freaking matchups, and then people are complaining about his how he fights in those. Gilbert Burns ones, people forget that he hurt Gilbert multiple times in that fight and just couldn't keep Gilbert off of him. That's literally what it was. So, yeah, I like Wonder Boy just in there. Michael Chiesa, whatever you say his name is, I think he's average. Not a fan of Michael Chiesa. I think he's very overrated. Yeah, what do you say? Jorge Masvidal, I think he's right up here in B-. I think Masvidal is really, really good. I think he needs to get out of his own head sometimes, get out of his own way, and just let his style, let you just fight. Stay out of your own head because I think he could have really done some damage against Colby. He just couldn't get him off of him. And his takedown defense wasn't great in that fight. Did clip him, just didn't have the energy to follow up, which is kind of crazy. But I do think Jorge's B. But he also could retire. No shame in that. 38 years old. You're not really. I don't ever really see him getting a title at this point in his career. Neil Magny. I think Neil Magny is average or below average. I think he has one style that he can do. He does pretty good against good one-round fighters. Any other fighter type, he doesn't do well with. Bilal Muhammad. I think Bilal Muhammad is B tier. I think Bilal Muhammad is really, really good. I don't think he's good as Sean Brady, and we're going to see that here soon. Chimaev. I think Chimaev is right there with in B tier. We haven't seen a whole ton. I can't put him up any higher than this. He fought Gilbert Burns. Let me make sure Gilbert Burns is above him. Yes, okay. I think Chimaev beat Gilbert, but close fight. I can't put him up there by Gilbert. He just hasn't done enough to get that yet. Jeff Neal. I think Jeff Neal is B tier. I think Jeff Neal's good, not great. Wonder Boy beat the crap out of him for 5 rounds. Yeah. Lee Jaleen, I think Lee Jaleen is okay. I think he's decent. I think it's all about matchups for him. I think he can be good in certain fights, but that's really it. Peter Yan, I think Peter Yan is good. I definitely like Petter, I think you say his name is actually Peter Yan. B tier. TJ Dillashaw. I think TJ Dillashaw is also B tier. I think TJ Dillashaw is unbelievable. You know, it's a shame that he did the EPO, but it kind of makes sense when he's trying to go down to 125. He needed he needed to recover enough to even be able to train. That stuff was so bad for him. And then to get finished the way he did, I bet that was just devastating to him to do what he had to do to get there in the first place. Corey Sandhagen, I think Corey Sandhagen is B tier. I think he's a little bit overrated. He's okay. I think his styles, you know, whatever. I think Aljamain Sterling kind of summed it up in their fight. He's okay. Rob Font, I think Rob Font is also okay. I think he's gotten himself to a position to where he's had 2 main events, and in fights that he could have won, points he could have won, points in the fight he could have won, but just lost it the second half of every single round of those fights. Josie Aldo, I know he's not champion, but Josie Aldo is an absolute legend. He's a king of everything. I don't care that he's not a champion. Josie Aldo is unfreaking believable. To be doing as long as he has and still be looking as good as he is unbelievable. Merab Dvalishvili, I think that's how you say his name. I think he is A tier. I like him, Merab. I think he's very good as well. Yeah, not really much else to say. I think his style is unfreaking believable and super fun to watch. Cody Garbrandt should be one where he should retire. I'm tired of seeing Cody get finished. I'm tired of seeing Cody get KO'd. That chin is just done. I think Cody is also done. Pedro Munoz, I think Pedro Munoz is B tier. I think he's really, really fun. I think he's a good fighter. Fallen on some hard times as of late, but he's also fighting some ridiculous things, ridiculous opponents. Marlon Moraes should retire because he did retire. His chin was just gone. And Dominic Cruz is an absolute legend. He's fighting Chito Vera, which is coming up here soon. I think Dominic Cruz is unbelievable, and he showed that again against Pedro Munoz. Unbelievable. Chito Vera, I think Chito Vera is A tier. I think Chito Vera is awesome. I think he's getting very, very close to a title shot, and it's very, very cool to see. I like Chito Vera. Let's see what he does. Frankie Edgar, I think Frankie Edgar should retire. I like Frankie Edgar. I still think he has some fight in him. I think he was beating Chito Vera, or at least he was 1-1 going into the third. I thought he was winning the third round. He beat Pedro Munoz in a very, very close fight. Yeah. Rafael Assunção, I think he should retire. I believe he's going to retire. Great career. Nothing to hold your head down on. Yadong Song Yadong, whatever you say, I think he's B tier. I think he's also very good. Did beat Chito Vera, but I'm not going to put him in the same spot because I think it was a little bit of a robbery, honestly, if you ask me. But I do think Young Yadong, Sung Yadong, whatever his freaking name is very good as well. Aljamain Sterling, I'm not going to put him up there. He just hasn't shown enough. I'm going to put him right here in S tier. I think he's good. I think he's going to be champion for a while. But I do think at some point he's going to fight Petr Yan again. And that trilogy is going to be pretty freaking awesome, I believe. Alexander Volkanovski proved me wrong time and time again. I like Alexander Volkanovski. I thought Max was going to beat him just because of his volume. I thought he was going to stifle him. But Alexander Volkanovski stifled Max. I thought Max looked absolutely terrible. It didn't even look like Max, honestly. I guess all the credit to that is Volkanovski. Max Holloway, again, he's not champion, but Max Holloway is right up there. And I'm actually going to put him above Jose. If it wasn't for Volk, Max Holloway would be champion. So he's right up there in that tier too. Brian Ortega, I think Brian Ortega is very special. I'm not for sure if he'll ever be champion because he's fought Max, didn't beat him. Fought Volk, almost beat him twice in those fights, but he almost got finished as well. So, yeah, I think Brian Ortega is one of the most talented guys, at least in jiu-jitsu for sure. Yair Rodriguez, I think Yair Rodriguez is a little bit overrated. I don't see him as this crazy athlete, or he's a ridiculous athlete, but I just don't think he's as crazy as like a talent as everyone says. Like they are like people they rave about this guy, and I think he's good for sure. I'm not saying that, but I don't think gonna be champion. And I believe he beats Brian Ortega. Spoiler alert, I do. I just don't think he ever beats Max Holloway, and I don't think he ever beats Volkanovski. So, yeah. Korean Zombie, I think should retire. Don't think there's really much left for him to do. I think he could have some fun fights, but I don't think he'll ever be champion. At the end of the day, that is your goal. Calvin Kattar, again, another guy I think is a little bit overrated. I like Calvin Kattar. His attitude fucking sucks. I hate his cocky, arrogant, I'm just not a fan of Calvin Kattar, honestly. Just not. What's his name? Arnold Allen. I think Arnold Allen is A tier. I think he is awesome. I think the sky is the limit for this fighter. I think he's very, very, very good. I really like Arnold Allen. Josh Emmett, he just beat Calvin Kattar. I'm going to put him right above in B tier. I think it'd be a fun fight for him to fight Volkanovski, but I think Volkanovski's style, my God, my freaking nose, man. I think Volkanovski is a very bad matchup for Josh. Of course, man, Josh Emmett has some big power, and I think if he connected on Volk, he could create some chaos. But I think Volkanovski at this point in his career is just in this groove, in this rhythm. It would have to be one of those ridiculous shots from a guy like Josh Emmett. I think I like Josh. We'll see what happens in this upcoming months. Giga, right below Calvin Kattar. I think Giga's amazing. I think him fighting Calvin and losing the way he did is only going to make him better. That's why he's there. What's his name? Dan Ige. Dan Ige is, I think, average. I think he's going to always be a fighter that is good until he gets to the top 4, top 5. And then he's going to have some issues. So he's always going to be that gatekeeper. I think he's okay. Not a huge fan of his style, but he's decent. Edson Barboza, I think Edson Barboza should retire. I don't really see anything left for Barboza to do. And that chin is just not holding up anymore. And in a fight that, like Bryce Mitchell, I really thought he was going to leg kick him, and that would cause some problems for Bryce, and it really didn't. He really didn't throw them. I think Bryce Mitchell is awesome. I think Bryce Mitchell is right up here in A tier. I think Bryce Mitchell is something special. Sadiq Youssef, I believe his name is. I think he's good. I don't think he's great or title material, really. God dang it. He's good. I mean, he needs to be a little bit more consistent in the cage. He needs to fight a little bit more. I think he takes a little bit too much time off. His momentum always feels like it's resetting every single time he gets in there because he always fights, spread out. His fights always spread out. And then Evolov, something like that. I know who this is. Mavzar. I think this is Mavzar. I think he's very, very good. I like him a lot. I'm going to put him up here with Bryce Mitchell. Unbelievable talent. Fun fights coming up for him for sure. Shane Burgos. I think Shane Burgos is good. Not great. I don't think his style is going to last his whole career. He just can't do that. He gets hit a little bit too much. And as we see this weekend, it's going to be a huge, huge problem when he fights Charles Jourdain. Alex Caceres, Bruce Leroy. I'm a big fan of him, but he is honestly just B-. He's a little bit above average. He's going to win some fights. I don't think he'll ever be champion. He could have some fun fights. Yeah. And he lost to Youssef. Brandon Moreno, I don't think he's S tier. Obviously, this is old because he's not champion anymore. But I do think he's special. I think he's very, very fun. And he's an awesome guy. I don't know why people pick on him or mess with him. Davison Figueiredo, I don't think is also S tier, even though he's champion now. I think he's right there with below. I guess we'll put him up here because he beat him. It's actually 1-1. 1-1-1. But, yeah, both of them very good. I'm actually very excited for that trilogy fight. It's going to be crazy, I think. Asgar Azkarov, I think another one is very special. A-. I like him a lot. Just lost his first one against Kai Kara-France. But I like him, and it was a close fight. Pantoja has actually beaten Moreno, I think 3 times. 2 or 3 times, something like that. So I do think he's special. He kind of just needs that fight to push him over to get close to a title shot, to fight one of them. Moreno's fighting France for the second time. Davison, who knows who he's fighting. They were talking about him going up a weight class. But a rematch between Moreno and Pantoja would be awesome to see. This is Alex Perez. Alex Perez is good. I don't think he's great, and I don't think he'll ever be champion, but he's definitely very, very fun to watch. His style's cool. You know, Joseph Benavidez beat the living crap out of him, but what can you do? This is, oh my goodness. It's, Brandon Royval. I think Brandon Royval is something special. His fighting style is unfreaking believable. I'm going to put him up in A tier. I really, really like Brandon Moreno. Brandon Royval. Jesus. I think the sky is the limit for this guy. He's very, very fun. Kai Kara-France, again, just destroyed Cody Garbrandt. Beat Asgar Azkarov. I think he's right up there in A tier. Right up there. And he Royval beat him. But yeah, he's fighting Brandon Moreno here soon. Oh man. And then this is, oh Jesus. Who is this guy? Why am I forgetting his name? Ooh. Crap. Oh, this is Bontarine. What am I doing? Bontarine's very, very good. I think he actually just got released. But I don't think he's anything crazy. I think his styles, he's going to smash some people, but I don't think he'll ever be champion. This guy, I can't remember his name, but he just came back and destroyed David Zada, something like that. It was something German. The guy that had a big, big win streak, he beat the crap out of him. B tier, I think he's very good. Oh, his name is on the tip of my freaking tongue. I cannot think of his name. Dang it. Yeah. Matt Schnell. Matt Schnell is right there with Li Jiling. I don't think there's anything crazy about Matt Schnell. I think he has a good ground game, but does get caught in submissions for some reason. Chin is very questionable at times. Yeah. Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott is B. I think Tim Elliott's fun to watch, but I don't know if he'll ever get to that title, and especially being as older as he is. I think he's 38. Something like that. I think he's 38. Maybe 36, something like that. Sean O'Malley, I'm not a fan of this guy. I don't care whatever about him. He has very good striking, good timing, good countering for sure. I think he's B tier. Don't think he'll be champion. I think Chito Vera smashed him, even though he doesn't like to talk about it. He says it's a 0, which not true, but okay. Joaquin Buckley. I think Joaquin Buckley is B tier. I think Joaquin Buckley is good, smart. He'll win you some fights, but I don't think he'll ever be champion. Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira is a very special guy. I think he's up here in A tier. I don't think he's going to beat Izzy. I think Izzy's going to pick him apart and have something to prove against him, which can kind of go both ways. Can kind of cost him, maybe not cost him, but I do like Alex Pereira. Is this Brian Battle? No freaking way. Is this Brian Battle? I think Brian Battle's average. Whatever. I think Brian Battle's okay. I'm pretty sure that's who that is. He's alright. Brandon Allen, I think Brandon Allen is right here in C tier. I think Brandon Allen is decent, not great. Don't think he'll ever win you a title. He's going to win you some fights, but I think that's really it. Gamrot, I think Gamrot is right up there with, what's his name? Sayukin. Where's Sayukin? Oh my goodness. Where is Sayukin? Why can't I find Sayukin? I thought he was up here. Oh no, he's S tier, yeah. I think Gamrot's right there as well. I think Gamrot is good. Crazy fight between him and Armin for sure. Even though I thought he lost. But either way, it was a close fight. He's a good fighter, for sure. And then this is Leon Murphy. I think it's Leon Murphy. Something like that. This guy is special. A-. Definitely could be a title challenger within the next year or two. Very crazy striking. Very good game planning. Very good at making adjustments mid-fight. I like him a lot. Daniel Rodriguez. Daniel Rodriguez is a boss, man. He is awesome. I'm a huge fan of him. Not for sure if ever you win you a title. He's 37 years old. Striking-wise, unbelievable. Pressure's unbelievable. And he has a ridiculous killer instinct. I think he needs to fight more often. He was fighting there for a while, often. He just kind of slowed down a little bit, a lot. But Daniel Rodriguez is awesome. Shavkat Ramanov, I believe that's who this is. This guy is special. Mollywopped Neil Magny. Mollywopped him. Beat him up, and then when he was like, I'm done with this, submitted him. Unbelievable fight. Awesome fight. Very, very cool. Nico Price, I think Nico Price is average. He could retire. I think he's average. Don't think you're ever going to get more than a couple fun fights. I'm not going to do this one because we just did Santiago Panzanio. Michel Pereira, I think Michel Pereira is right here in the bottom, B- tier. I think Michel Pereira is, not bad. His style's a little crazy. He's going to give you some fun fights, but I think that's really it. Kevin Lee, I think Kevin Lee is B tier. I think Kevin Lee has a high ceiling. Talent-wise, is unbelievable. He just needs to get his mental state under control. He needs to get some wins back so he gets that confidence back. That's the biggest thing with him. Robbie Lawler, I think Robbie Lawler should retire. There's no reason for him to even continue fighting, especially guys like Brian Barberina, who has a lot still to prove. He says. Robbie Lawler's an absolute legend. There's no need. We've seen Brian getting hurt a couple times, but also Robbie looked very, very flat in that fight, so I'm not really for sure what was going on there. But I love Robbie Lawler. How can you not? Nick Diaz, I think you should stay retired. I'd love to see you fight if you're going to come back in ridiculous conditioning like you typically do, instead of taking a fight on relatively short notice. And he still, fought his ass off until he broke his nose, and he's like, well, fuck this, I'm done, But I love Nick Diaz. I'd love to see Nick Diaz fight again, but I do think he should retire. Nate Diaz, I think Nate Diaz is freaking awesome. A tier. Yes, he's above all these other freaking guys. Don't care what you guys say. Nate Diaz is awesome. I love Nate Diaz. This is Randy Brown. I think Randy Brown is right below Kevin Lee. I think Randy Brown can win you some fights and beat some guys up. But I don't think he'll ever be in that top tier of any really weight classes. But he's a good fighter. Donald Cowboy Cerrone. I love Donald Cowboy Cerrone, my favorite fighter of all time. He is in the retired list because he just retired. Ooh, broke my heart. But awesome. I will always have memories of Cowboy fighting. There's so much stuff. I love that mental state when he loved to do it, when he was in love with fighting. I loved that time. It was so much fun. So much fun. Ali Quinta, I think he should retire. Terence McKinney, I think Terence McKinney is a very, very special fighter. I think he needs to settle down a little bit when exploding as much as he does. I think Terence McKinney, the sky is the limit for that guy. He's 28 years old. He's not a kid, so guy. I think sky's the limit for him. I think he needs to settle down a little bit. I think he really had Drew Dober on Queer Street, and I don't think he needed to rush him as much as he did. But he took the fight on very short notice, so it's kind of understandable, but still. Paddy Pimblett. I think Paddy Pimblett is right here in this kind of above average, a little bit above average fighter. I think he's good, but that chin's very questionable because the 2 fights he's had, he's gotten touched and gotten dropped. Whether he wins it or not, those are some holes in his game. So he really hasn't fought anybody that special. So yeah, this is Adaman. He beat Karma Worthy, flatline Karma Worthy. It was brutal, but I think he's I think he's special. He's fun. He's so much fun to watch. Yeah, very, very fun to watch. Bobby Green, I freaking love Bobby Green. Love Bobby Green. His style's awesome. A-. Honestly, if he keeps it up and keeps fighting the way he does in these short notice fights, he definitely could get a title shot. Did lose against Islam Makhachev, but he took it on a couple of days' notice. Yeah, I love Bobby Green. How can you not? Fan favorite guy. Ryan Hall, I think Ryan Hall is average. I think his jiu-jitsu is unfreaking believable. I think Ryan Hall can really submit a lot of guys, but I don't think, especially because he's like 38, something like that. He's older, and I don't think he'll ever get that title shot that he wants. Ilir Latifi, not Ilir Latifi, Ilir Tapora. Ilir Tapora, something like that. It's Tapora. But I think Tapora is special. He is a monster. I think he's super special. That's why he's going here. Yeah. Zabit retired. He just retired to become a doctor. Good for him. Paiva, Rulian Paiva. I think he's a little bit above average. Not great. Fun fighter to watch, but again, not great. Kyler Phillips. Again, a little bit above average. Did lose to Paiva in a fight that was so freaking close, but I did have Paiva winning the last 2 rounds, ever so slightly. But Kyler Phillips, the sky's the limit for him. He's so special. His techniques are crazy. His style is insane. Big fan of Kyler Phillips. Man, my fucking nose. Man. Phil Hawes. I think Phil Hawes is another guy that's a little bit above average. I wish Chris Curtis was in this, but he's not. Phil Hawes, powerful wrestler, needs to keep that chin tucked a little bit, needs to pick his shots a little bit better, but I'm a big fan of Phil Hawes. And then last one, Manel Cape. I think Manel Cape is A-. I think he's not quite to that S tier, but Manel Cape is very, very fun, talks very, very well, and again, just very, very good. And as always, guys, this is my rankings. GOAT tier, Charles, Volk, Max, I think, is still there. Aldo and Cruz. Actually, we can put Izzy. Yeah, come on now. What am I doing? Izzy's up there too. That's ridiculous. Usman, I can't put him up there because he's had five title defenses, but he's only fought 3 guys. So come on now. Sterling is not gonna go up there because Sterling just won the belt, hasn't really even defended it yet. So yeah. Big fan. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, hit that subscribe button as hard as you possibly can. And you already know what it is.